Hey, Kharisma here. Welcome back to Kharisma Daily. Two teachers have been forced to resign after allegedly setting up a foursome with one of their students. Let's get into it. Before you get into the story, remember to subscribe to the channel, the show, and if you're watching this or following this along on any podcast streaming platform, remember to leave a positive review. Let's jump right into the story. Now, according to the Law and Crime Network, these teachers have been up to nothing good. Let's take a listen.
Teachers from Wisconsin are out of a job and they could face criminal charges after they're accused of messaging a student to arrange a foursome. I have the details of what the teachers are accused of doing on a school trip. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Alexsia Saldaris and Jennifer Larson were teachers at Joseph Craig High School in Janesville, Wisconsin, until the spring. The school district of Janesville launched an investigation of the two teachers in April. Records released by the district show that Saldaris and Larson attended a state DECA trip with students in February. No big deal. That's what teachers do. They go on school trips with students. They supervise. But what happened in early April is what resulted in them being placed on leave. Between April 7th and April 9th, on another trip, the records show that Larson and Saldaris were Snapchatting with a student identified only as Student A, saying they would like to cuddle and have fun. They're also quoted as asking whether another student would want to come with them. The investigative document says Saldaris gave the keys to his school van to Student A so he could get his clothes out of it and then allowed him to take a lap in the parking lot in the van. Then the document says Saldaris and the student exchanged a, quote, half kiss, and she was changing her shoes by the van that day. On the evening of April 9th, the investigative document says that Saldaris sent Student A 5 photos of herself in lingerie and undergarments. There were texts where the two discussed plans to meet that weekend. Then the next morning, on April 10th, the other teacher, Jennifer Larson, reported to superiors that Alexsia Saldaris allowed Student A to drive a school van. Then Saldaris texted Student A that their relationship, that's what she called it, their relationship, needed to stop. And Student A agreed. This is a law and crime legal alert. Have you experienced?
Oh, wow.
It was Alexia Saldaris in the photos. That's when the district places Saldaris on administrative leave. What happens next is redacted. It's blacked out in the investigative summary. This could relate to what the student told district officials. That evening, Jennifer Larson is also placed on administrative leave. 6 days later, on April 17th, district officials interview Jennifer Larson, and she admits to the snaps discussing cuddling, flirting, and implying that alcohol would be involved in a possible meeting with a student. The assistant superintendent also confronted Larson about having a prior inappropriate relationship with a former student. Larson, according to the documents, admitted to starting a rumor about a current male student's former girlfriend. She said she didn't believe the girl was good enough for the student. Wow. On April 19th, the assistant superintendent met with both Larson and Saldaris separately and told them it was being recommended that they resign and that their contracts would not be renewed. Both Saldaris and Larson resigned. So the school district says that they've turned this matter over to the Janesville Police Department, which is investigating. So what kind of crime could exist here? Because from what I'm looking at, I'm not seeing one. I thought we should bring in an expert in prosecuting crimes to discuss this. She is Michelle Snodgrass. She is the Commonwealth's attorney for Campbell County, Kentucky. She's been prosecuting felony cases for 24 years. So, Michelle, thanks for coming on. You've seen it all, doing this for 24 years. Are you seeing a crime in the documents that we have here in front of us right now?
Well, right now, the documents that they gave us don't tell us a whole lot. What we always look at as prosecutors is what is contained in the messages that could tell us there's more out there. And one of the things that stands out most to me is the message that said, we need to end our relationship. A relationship does not start over 5 text messages of a woman in lingerie. So that tells me there's more. When you look at the history between these two, there was a class trip that they were on with the students in February. So what happened between February and April? That is what is going to tell the police what they need to be looking at.
And I think you make a really good point there. This is at April 10th of 2024. It's in the morning, and it's after Jennifer Larson apparently reported to the principal that Alexsia Saldaris had allowed the students to drive around the parking lot in the district van doing the loop, as they said. And, Alexsia says to student A that the relationship needs to stop, and that student A agrees. So you're right. There was a period of time there in which something could have transpired. We just don't know what that was. And then we get to farther down in the documents, and there's a lot of stuff redacted. It's blacked out. I look at that and I'm thinking to myself, they had to have gone to the student. I'm assuming they went to the student and his parents and said, hey, what was going on here? So is that redacted because that might be part of
investigation,
a criminal investigation? It may be something that a minor has relayed to them.
Absolutely. So as prosecutors, law enforcement, we do everything we can to protect children, because we got to remember these are minor children. And so you have to treat them in a different way. You might take them to a children's advocacy center to be interviewed as opposed to being interviewed by the police. If they disclosed information either through themselves or through their parents, the school district is going to redact that for their protection. And I think that's important to say that there is more that we don't know about that the police are privy to. And that is what is leading them in their investigation, and the prosecutors as well. That's what's telling them whether or not criminal activity occurred. And at this point, I have to assume that there is more.
Yeah.
We have a teacher talking to a student saying, let's meet up over the weekend. That means that there was more contact with them.
Of course.
Yeah, we're talking about cuddling, possible alcohol use, all kinds of stuff. And there was a half kiss shared, apparently, with student A and Alexsia Saldaris. So that right there, I don't know if that could constitute anything, but teachers should not be doing half kisses with students. It's just not.
Exactly. And I don't think we need to watch the full video of this, but the story, you get the gist of what's going on here. And we're seeing more and more, especially female teachers, being involved with students. And it's becoming this thing. Like, I don't understand why these grown women are throwing themselves at students. And it seems that there was some kind of fallout between the two teachers who were planning this foursome, because one teacher rat out the other one. So I guess they had a falling out, or there was some kind of jealousy because the younger teacher got a kiss from the student. I don't know, but it seemed that they had a riff. So this is why she blew the whistle, even though she was involved in this plan to have a foursome with a student. But there's definitely more to this case, like they said here. There's definitely more that has transpired, and it will be interesting to see where it leads, what has transpired, and what will come of this case, because this is becoming ridiculous now. It's becoming ridiculous. I've shared so many stories on the show about teachers and students, or teachers gone wild pretty much on this show. It's like ridiculous. And you as a parent, you send your child to a school believing and trusting that it's a safe place to be, but it's no longer safe. When I was growing up in school, I mean, there were things that happened, there would be fights and so on, but this level of degeneracy and depravity is next level. Sometimes words cannot describe where we are today as a society. It's just beyond words. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that. But I want to hear your thoughts. Do you have a story where a teacher has crossed the line? And what do you think about more and more stories are coming out of teachers who are involved or trying to seduce students into, having sexual experiences or relationships with them? I think it's quite disgusting, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, Take care and bye for